Hello and welcome. This is James Blanchard, Cisneros, at your service. Today I will be reading the November 1st Facebook post and making a few comments on it, and I trust that it will assist both of us on our journeys. Here we go. There's no shame in struggle. Today, do not feel forced into denying or hiding your negative thoughts and emotions. Instead, with courage and determination, face the thoughts you are thinking and the emotions you are feeling. These negative thoughts and emotions exist in your life to help you better see and understand what separates you from your true nature. If you avoid negative thoughts and feelings, then you also avoid their lessons. Do not ignore where you are, for where you are is always sacred. Not always having positive feelings and emotions is not a sign of failure, but of growth. Growing pains, birthing pains are all signs of wondrous, beautiful gifts that are coming your way. And so today, we do not surrender to sorrow. Instead, we look it straight in the face and say, I am where I am, and where I am is exactly where I need to be. Today, I release resistance to where I am, for when I do, I will no longer be where I was. The ego has programmed us to quiet negative emotions, to shut them up, so to speak, to hide them from others and even from yourself. And it does this for one specific reason. When you have a negative emotion, that is simply questioning the status quo, or even your status quo. And the ego does not want this, because the ego has invested a lot of time and energy into making you believe that you are who you think you are. But you see, who you truly are is God's source's creation, love itself. Love and its expressions such as compassion, kindness, generosity, peace, joy. This is your true nature. But the ego again has invested a lot of time in making you believe you're something other than that. Making you buy into its illusions of you. And so we have, knowingly or not, bought into the ego's programming when we are being something other than our true nature. And that's exactly where the ego wants you. Because as long as you use its thought system, the ego stays relevant, and the ego still exists as long as your beliefs in its thought system exist. Your beliefs in who it has programmed you to be exist. And so today, we're not going to shut off our negative emotions. We're not going to hide them. We're simply going to understand what they truly are. They are a gift to us. For every part of our journey is useful to get us to our destination, which is the state of love, our true essence. This is our true destination. So anytime we're experiencing negative emotions in the ego's fantasy and its fairy tale, we are simply in a very quiet way, the source in us is asking us to remember who we truly are. And so let's say we're buying into the ego's illusions of anger. At first, we have been programmed to believe that anger is a proper emotion, that it is a true part of our essence. And so the ego has said it's alright, it's righteous to react with anger, because you're simply protecting yourself against others people's attacks on your thought system. And your thought system is basically the ego. So it is telling you that it's okay to protect it. And so you protect it when people challenge your belief system. And you think of yourself as powerful because you're defending yourself against others quote unquote attacks of your belief systems. And the ego tells you you're right to do so. But little by little, the more we do that, the more we delve into the ego's fantasies and fairy tales, the more we notice that it's not there that we belong. That we do not need to defend ourselves against other people's belief systems. Because yes, to the ego, you have a belief system, and everybody else, those 7+ billion people, have other belief systems. And they all are slightly different, and sometimes very different, and they all attack each other. But each ego is there to defend itself, and so it tells you that you're doing the right thing. Until you do what the ego tells you enough times to start to question it. And so you start to have these negative emotions about your anger. You start to feel not right about it. And then the ego attacks you again for feeling these negative emotions. And it tells you that you're not spiritual enough, or you're not good enough, or you're not wise enough, or disciplined enough. And that's why you're feeling the way you're feeling. But that is not so. You're simply feeling the way you're feeling because you have bought into the ego's programming way too long. And now you're being called home. You're being called to be an expression of your true essence. And you're finally paying attention to that call. And that negative emotion is symbolic of that call. Your truest self is reminding you who you truly are. And when it doesn't quite click with the ego's fantasies, then a separation takes place. But it's a separation from fantasy to reality, from illusion to truth, from your false self into your true self. And so you see, every part of that journey is sacred. The truth within you will remind you that every part of that journey is sacred. The ego will tell you that some parts are good and some parts are bad. And when they're bad parts / bad emotions, then you should quash them or hide them because you're not being a good boy or girl. And so let us simply be grateful for these negative emotions today, because they're trying to tell us that we're headed in a direction we desire no longer to go to. And so each part of our journeys are sacred today. And let us be thankful to that and to ourselves. So if you're feeling sad, that's fine. That is perfect. That is a perfect part of your true journey. The ego would have you try to squash and hide your sadness. But that gets you nowhere you truly want to go. You want to experience the sadness. You want to bring it to the surface. You want to bring it to the light. To see what illusions, what ego programming are you buying into, or are you supporting, that is supporting the sadness, that is creating the sadness. There's some illusion that we have been taught to support as real, that we have supported long enough, that has now created this sadness within us, this call to action. For that is all a negative emotion is. That is all sadness is a call to action, a call to realign with your true nature, with the state of joy. And so judge yourself not today. Do not buy into the ego's self-judgments. That is just the ego trying to shut you up. And it has shut you up enough times, and it shut us up enough times. It is time for us to look at this illusion, at this negative emotion, at this sadness, and see why it is that we have it. What illusions have we supported throughout our lifetime that has come to that we supported for so long, that has come to a point in time where we have created this sadness, where we are experiencing this sadness. But the ego would have us judge ourselves for having this sadness. But no, this is a gift. We're gifting ourselves. We're bringing the darkness of the illusion up onto the surface so the light can shine on it. so that we can see it for what it is. And then we can start making the changes that will align us with our true nature, with the state of joy. Equally so, same thing with stress. If you're being self-judgmental because you're experiencing too much stress, that is another thing that the ego would have you judge yourself for, as not being spiritual enough, or whatever. So I would tell you to hide your stress from others, so that others do not see that you're not really spiritual, that you're not really happy. But today we want to bring up the stress, and we want to bring it to the surface so the light again can shine on it. So that we can see what illusions throughout time we have been supporting over and over again, which of the ego's programmings we are supporting that has brought us to this place of stress. Because stress is not really us. Our true nature is peace. So somewhere within, we have bought into all this ego programming. It could be 100 different things. It could be anything from worrying that you're not being on time to just putting too much on your plate to whatever. It has built up, and now you have stress. But now we see stress not as a thing to be hiding. It's a gift we're offering ourselves. Here, look, we're experiencing stress. Why? Why are we experiencing stress if joy is our true nature? It is because we have supported the ego's illusions as real. Okay, which illusions of the ego are we supporting as real? Which programming have we accepted as real that has created this stress? And so now we can look at it. And now we can start shifting this programming. We can start eliminating this programming. We can start dissolving the belief systems that support this programming so that we can return to the state of peace. And it could be 100 things. It could be maybe you have been called onto this planet to help bring peace to the world. And so you needed to experience stress long enough, and the illusions that support the idea of stress long enough to see that there was a better way to deal with these issues. And so when you learn to deal with these issues in a more loving way, through 100 different ways, such as trusting in God's source, or meditation, or breathing practices, it could be 100 different ways. But you see, maybe part of your journey was to experience these illusions long enough so that you can feel what this illusion of stress really is. Because there's innumerable number of people on the planet dealing with stress. So maybe now you can shine light on your own stress, so that can be dissolved, and then you can be a teacher to people who are experiencing stress, that peace is truly available. And so you see, this is a gift you're offering yourself, shining a light on this illusion. And something that the ego would not even tell you is that even all the ego illusions that created this stress are in themselves gifts. Because let us remember that every part of our journey is sacred. And so we are experiencing this for a reason. Maybe we are experiencing these illusions so that we can see them for what they are, so that we can shine light on them, so that then we can become teachers of peace. Because we have already been through the illusionary idea of stress. We've already gone through that tunnel of darkness. We've come out into the light. And there are many people dealing with the darkness of stress. And many people are judging themselves for that. And many people are even hiding that stress. And what happens when you hide that stress? Many things happen. Maybe you can get a heart attack. You can have high blood pressure. You can become obese, eat too much, do drugs, drink too much. That's all from hiding our negative emotions. That's all from not dealing with our negative emotions. And so you see, when we bring out these negative emotions to the light, we're able to deal with all this stuff, all these illusions, and then come out of the tunnel of darkness and become a teacher for all the people who are still buying into these illusions as real, as to a real part of their true essence, when we know that it's not a real part of their true essence. But only because it's not a real part of a true essence does not mean that that part of your journey is not sacred. For you and God's source, you at your highest level and God's source have created a perfect, sacred, individualized journey for you. And whatever that journey is, you are here to teach that the ego's illusions are not real. They could be in the thought system of sadness, in the thought system of stress, and many of the ego's thought systems. And you will experience them. You will experience them. Sorry, I'm fasting, so I might not be 100%. But I forgive myself, as I know you do too. And so let us be grateful today, because what we're doing today is shifting from the program idea that we're not good enough, or we're not spiritual enough, or we're not kind enough, or whatever, because we're experiencing negative emotions that we're really supposed to hide. We're coming out of that into the idea of supporting the idea that negative emotions are just fine. They're perfect. Let us look at them. Let us see why they are here. Why have they been called to us? Why have we chosen to experience these illusions long enough to experience this, to bring out this into our lives? Because we're all teachers. And we're all very blessed to be going through whatever it is that we're going through. And yes, I know the ego will have us judge others and ourselves so many times during the day. And we keep on buying into that. We keep on buying into judgment. We keep on buying into self-judgment. But we can only do that for so long. We can only buy into the ego's illusionary programming for so long before we start to ask ourselves, is there not a better way? And there is. The better way is seeing that every step on your journey is sacred. The kinder way is seeing that every step on the journey is useful to you, and it will be useful to many others. And thanks to your courage and determination for seeing these negative emotions, for experiencing these negative emotions, for feeling your feelings, it is because of that, it is because of your courage that you return to the light. And then you will bring back this light, and you will help many others see. Why? Because you had the courage to feel your feelings. Because you had the courage to see your negative emotions and their results. Because you had the courage to delve deep into them and see that they are not really real, and that you can act in a more loving and self-loving manner, and thus dissolve in the end the ego's programming. All the stuff that supports your negative emotions that we have supported throughout time. And little by little, this is how we lighten up the world, brighten up the world, step by step. And every step is sacred. For there are many, many, many people walking behind you on your journey who are going to be able to use your light, who are going to be able to turn their sadness into joy because of your experience, who are going to be able to turn their anger into forgiveness because of what you have gone through, because you have already bought into that illusion and you have overcome it. And so let us drop self-judgment today. Let us drop the shame. Let us drop the idea of struggle. For it is not struggle. It is a gift you're gifting to this world. By becoming the light that you truly are, you're gifting this world a reprieve from whatever illusions they're buying into. And thus every step on our journey is sacred. Every negative emotion is sacred. Every time we reacted with anger, forgive yourself. For it was simply a step towards teaching you that anger is not the most loving, self-loving way to be on this planet, way to shine on this planet. And so pat yourself on the back today. Judge yourself not. Let's place our judgments aside. Let's place our self-judgments aside. See what we have brought to our surface. See what we have brought to the light. And let it dissolve in our new light. As we align with our light, all our illusions will dissolve, little by little. Step by step. You're okay. You're spiritual. You're wise enough. You're good enough. You are exactly who you came here to be. And sooner or later you will find this out. And then you will look back and you will bless every step of your journey. And every brother and sister who helped you remember that the illusion is not real. And then you will live your days in light. Blessing every brother and sister. Blessing every step. Blessing every emotion. Thank you very much for your time. I love you very much. If you'd be so kind as to like, comment, or share this video, it would help with the listing process, and it might help somebody find this video someday who can use the information. If you'd like to leave me a question or a comment, I would be delighted to try and offer a response. And if you can please subscribe to my YouTube videos, I would love to have you in this community. Again, thank you for your time. I love you very much. And God willing, we'll see each other tomorrow. Peace.